What's going on, everybody? Man, Eric Wilson, Sports Arena. Just wanted to talk to you, gentlemen, because we know the 2010 all-decade team has come out for the NFL, and I just wanted to get your guys' thoughts on it. Mike, I saw a lot of names in there who look very familiar to your squad, so I want to say congratulations. There were some Cowboys fans in there who, honestly, I can't ignore it. They deserve to be in the all-decades, but I wanted to get your thoughts on it, brother.
Well, yeah, I mean, their whole line should absolutely be there.
Okay,
I mean,
not the whole line.
Okay.
Not the whole line.
Frederick, Martin, and Smith, 3 of the 5. I mean, look, Travis Frederick's not even just because he retired, the best center in the game, hands down.
No, he's not.
Yes, he is.
Okay,
you're just being a hater. Anyway,
no, I'm not. No, actually, I'm not. I would actually put my center versus your center.
Oh, okay. Well,
I would put Frederick versus Kelsey. Come on.
I'd put Marquise Pouncey over that.
You would, Jake?
Well, okay. You guys can bounce around with second best. That's fine. I understand that. But I'm just saying, but Tyron Smith, I mean, the dude has to wear a knee brace on his arm because that's how big his arm is. And these defensive ends that come to have great days go to sleep out there. So that's a no-brainer.
No argument there.
I mean, dude's sick. So, it's – again, I mean, that line has done many things except not being able to recover for a clown head coach that's gone.
Thank God for that. Can we get a clap on that one? The clapper is gone.
Well, I mean, but you shouldn't be happy. You people in the division should have been rooting to keep him because, would have been better for you. Now you don't have a chance. But, yeah, I like it's interesting. There's a few – I mean, everybody, who got snubbed, this and that, yada, yada, yada. I mean, there's a few things I would change. But, I mean, yeah, the Cowboys having a presence, I mean, especially those guys that, are going to keep these quarterbacks upright. No surprise there.
Speaking of quarterbacks, let me go to Jake because Jake's quarterback, Aaron Rodgers, it was him and it was Brady, and that was it. And I was very surprised. So, Jake, let me talk to you about Aaron Rodgers, man. Over a plethora of talent. But for the decade, Brady and Rodgers, you good with that?
Honestly, I'm not really sure, but he was probably the only premier Packer that they had from 2010 to 2019. And if you take a look at it, he only had one season where he was double digits, and that was in 2010 where he threw 11 interceptions. Otherwise, this guy was averaging between interceptions a year. And he is a terrific quarterback. He is a talented, fantastically tooled quarterback. But I'm not too sure, honestly, if I would have put Aaron Rodgers over that, because I think Tom Brady, I think Peyton Manning, I think were better off on that one. But, I mean, they needed a Packer. He was the only one they had, and I guess they just kind of pushed him in there. We already know the love affair with Aaron Rodgers with the media, so I was not surprised that Rodgers was in there. But I would have probably looked more at Peyton Manning because from 2010 to 2015, it was unmatched between Brady and Manning.
Gotcha.
Dude,
hold on. Let Alex jump in here because I can see his facial expression. Alex, go ahead, brother. What's on your mind?
How in the hell did Drew Brees not make this list? How did Drew Brees not make this list? Now, okay, look, nobody's arguing Brady. Put us to the side. Fine. No one's arguing Brady. Rodgers is all right. He's all right. He doesn't have Drew Brees' numbers. How many times did Drew Brees lead the league in passing? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times this last decade? And he can't make the decade team? Hell to the no.
Yeah, I think what was happening here, and it was kind of shocking to me, I was wondering what Packer fans were thinking. They kind of put off this Bush League playoff record. Yeah, Rodgers was 10-7. Drew Brees was 4-6. Well, it wasn't Drew Brees' reasoning that they, they struggled in the playoffs and lost to Stephon Diggs and that Minnesota Miracle. But I'm with you guys. I was surprised that Drew Brees did it. He's broken not 1 but 2 NFL records. He's made history numerous times. He's the only reason that the Saints are who they are right now. And like I said, I love Aaron Rodgers. Don't get me wrong, but
Jake, time out, Jake. Yes, look, this list right here, the quarterbacks, I am arguing Brady because I'll take one of your answers, Jake. If you're going to look at it from a pure thing, And not everybody goes fine. I understand winning and getting to the playoffs, getting the Super Bowls, but I would go with Breeze and Peyton Manning. So Brady can go off my list. So can Aaron Rodgers. Breeze and Peyton Manning. And yes, Michael Thomas. Look, I said this to Eric before. When you have a freaking Twitter account and your handle is can't cover Mike and everybody knows you're getting the ball and dude destroys people, is awesome. Kumara is phenomenal. When Ingram was there. So, yeah, Drew Brees has weapons around him that are awesome. But to me, yeah, bye-bye Brady. And the fact that he was unanimous, please, get it. Everybody just wants to kiss his butt, whatever. I don't care. To me, it's Drew Brees, hands down, and Peyton Manning. Because Aaron Rodgers rolls his eyes. Eric knows I can't stand his body language. I love his talent. But everything – I told Eric a million times, if I was a receiver, I'd take a run at Aaron Rodgers in practice. I saw him roll his eyes more than once. I just go back and hit him and be like, oops, sorry, didn't mean to hit you. Roll your eyes now. Like, I'm sorry. But Peyton Manning, if you want to go if it's based off regular season, like there's nobody that can hold Peyton Manning's jock in the regular season. It's not even close. And for what he did, yes, I get it. He went to 3 Super Bowls and he won 2. But, yeah, and Drew Brees won one, obviously, against Peyton Manning. So, yeah, I would go with Brees and Peyton Manning, and I'd be perfectly fine with that.
Peyton went to 4. Peyton went to 4.
Okay.
4.
He went to 4 Super Bowls?
Oh, you need me to name them?
Yes, please.
Indianapolis, Chicago.
Okay.
Indianapolis, New Orleans. Denver, Seattle.
Oh, yeah, 4.
And Denver.
So he won 2. Right. Okay.
Yeah, but also
yeah.
there is another
I always forget the Seattle one, sorry, because that's the only one in history that there's a guy on Twitter that literally said he didn't care about the rest of the game because he won a very huge bet that the first score would be a safety, which had never happened in Super Bowl history.
Go ahead, Jake. Get in there.
I think the biggest thing I would argue with a Peyton Manning was his historic 2013 season when he was in Denver. I think that alone should have got him on that list at that point because this guy was coming off a neck injury. He was not sure if he was going to be the Peyton Manning that he was in Indianapolis. He goes to Denver, and he had some really great seasons there. Even in his final season when he got that final Super Bowl, he was still pretty proactive enough and a hell of a leader. So I was surprised by that. I could not believe Peyton Manning or Drew Brees did not get on that list. But you can make an argument for all 4 of them. But to me, I think it's more of if Brady, Brees, and Manning, and then Rodgers. Because I just felt like Peyton Manning just really rise to the occasion every chance of the way. He made guys like Demaryius Thomas one of the best receivers in the game for a couple of years. He just made guys better. And when you watch Aaron Rodgers, like I said, he's very talented, but I don't feel like he makes people better. I mean, I watched Marquez Valdes-Scantling, and I just sat there and went, the guy regressed. I watched Geronimo Allison. The guy regressed. So everybody's saying that. That was the best thing about Brett Favre was he made guys better. Aaron Rodgers doesn't do that.
Jake, but here's the thing, Jake. If you look at – you're saying, okay, Tom Brady, if we're going off regular season – what's the one excuse everybody always has to say about Tom Brady when it doesn't go the Patriots' way? Oh, well, he had nothing around him. Dudes are in the NFL. I'm not going to get into the whole stiff conversation.
Plus, you're Peyton in the AFC East where you're playing the Buffaloes, the Miamis, and the Jets. So that's 6 wins right there.
Exactly.
Scrubs.
And Peyton Manning, look, when they won that first Super Bowl against Chicago, up until like week 10 or 11, 12, their defense was atrocious. I think Kansas City gutted them for like over 400 yards total and like 250 rushing, whatever it was. It's crazy like that. Yeah. So throughout his career, yes, he had guys on offense, but he didn't have the defense. He had a phenomenal defensive coach in Tony Dungy who had a coach up who, again, I'm not saying Belichick's not a great coach, but didn't get that. So Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers are looking up at this list because same thing with Drew Brees. When he doesn't have it, he has all the records. Brady's just keeping playing to maybe hope to catch him to get a record, and Brady can't even be original and stay with the team because he wants to do what Peyton did and show he can win elsewhere. Well, they ain't going to win in Tampa this year, I'll tell you that much.
Go ahead, Alex. Go ahead, because I got something I got to say to that too. But go ahead. I'll let you get yours first.
Are you done? Are you done?
Go.
Okay, good.
It doesn't belong on the list.
Look, first and foremost, you need to stop all the hate I despise Tom Brady.
It's not hate.
But it's not easy. It's not easy making it to 9 Super Bowls, number one. Number two, whether they cheated, whether they got lucky, or whether Carroll cost them a game, you try to find someone who's won 6 Super Bowls. I dare you. You know what? You won't because you can't.
Charles
Haley has 5. Brady has 6. So stop all the nonsense hate.
Well,
like I said, I can't stand him as a football player, but just accept the fact that he's on the decade team and he's earned that over 20 years. All right? Accept that.
Not more than Drew Brees.
The head coaching, that made me a little mad.
Thank you, Jake. That's my cue. That's all I needed you to say. There is my problem. My problem right there.
Andy Reid on there?
Thank you. That's what I'm saying.
Where is Andy Reid?
That's what I want to know. You choose Pete Carroll.
When I was at Whiteman Air Force Base, not in Nassau, Missouri, I got tickets to the Chiefs and the Bengals game. I went to this game. I was expecting Arrowhead Stadium to be packed. It wasn't. For the first time, Arrowhead Stadium, the Chiefs franchise, was in such a terrible situation at this point. Like, they were calling it Blackout Arrowhead. Once they got Andy Reid, it didn't matter if it was Alex Smith as the quarterback. He was winning. He was bringing them to the playoffs. And then when he got Patrick Mahomes, that was a blessing in disguise, and finally got that Super Bowl. You're trying to tell me Pete Carroll, who did the dumbest thing in Super Bowl history, football to Marshawn Lynch, is a better coach than Andy Reid? No way.
Jake, I'm actually going to take a page out of your book because I put up the numbers very simply because, as we always say, men lie, women lie, numbers don't. So Pete Carroll, here you go. 26 years as a coach between collegiate and professional. His record, 229, 185, and 1. His winning percentage, 55.3. His playoff record, he's 15 and 15, 50%. Okay, now go to my man, the stud, the head coach of the Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs. 28 years as a coach, collegiate and professional. 283, 164, and 1, which equates to a 63.28 percentage, and his playoff record, 23 and 19. How is Andy Reid not on this all decade? That's what I want to know.
Philadelphia and all the choking. Okay. Let me say it a third time in case you didn't hear it for the people in the back. Philadelphia and all of the choking.
Wow.
In the years that Andy Reid was there. Hold on.
All the times that Donovan McNabb took you guys to the NFC Championship game.
That was 2001 to 2004.
And you choked.
Hold on,
and
Alex.
You choked.
Alex.
And then when you finally made it to the Super Bowl, you lost.
Alex, we're talking about 2010 to 2020. We're not talking about 2000 to 2010.
Right, so don't give the whole career record. Don't give the career record. And it's 20.
No, I'm going to give the whole career record because if you if you put the all decade in his last years in Philadelphia, in a division that at the time was supposed to be the NFC Beast, man, working with the talent that he had, still put us in the best position, not only to win, but to get to the Mike, all I can see is your forehead. So either back up so I can look at you or –
There we go.
He had Shady McCoy.
We had Shady McCoy. We had Jeremy Maclin. We had Michael Vick. I mean, we had a defense that was still strong enough to get it done. So you can't sit there and tell me that in that time frame between his time in Philadelphia, which granted, his last year, yeah, it sucked. And then what he's able to do in Kansas City, and you don't put him, you put Pete Carroll above him?
Hold on, Jake. 2019, he's 99 and 61.
Come on.
Right, okay. But if you're going for a decade, the Seahawks started out as absolute trash.
Amen.
And I can't stand the Sea Chickens. I mean, the only thing worse than them are the Eagles and Redskins. So, I mean, that's to be said. But look, Pete Carroll, what he did there, what they've developed, their whole their pseudo Patriots way of paying some dudes and dudes not getting happy and leaving this and that. Look, man, all I'm saying is Belichick gets it because Brady gets it, and I have to be like, oh well, yeah.
We're not talking about him. We're talking about Pete Carroll. How does Pete Carroll surpass Andy Reid?
I could go with my boy, who should have been the head coach in Dallas. I could go with Sean Payton too, with what he's done, because there's years he just had Drew Brees, like Jake said, for some years. And guess what? They both came back and exploded. New Orleans is always a team that you're like, okay. If they don't make it, you're like, okay, they didn't make the playoffs. But I'm just saying that I can see Pete Carroll. Why? I could see Andy Reid. But, it's like five guys going for one spot because of Belichick or Cheetah-check, as I like to say. But that's okay. I mean, let's promote cheaters. It's good stuff.
I'm going to piggyback off of what Michael said, and I'm going to give you numbers other than yelling at people saying, but why? Here's why. When Pete Carroll took over the Seattle Seahawks, that team was awful. Offensive line in shambles. No wide receiver to think of. Quarterback carousel. It was actually worse than the Packers before they got Brett Favre. He picks Russell Wilson, 75th pick. And Mel Kiper's like, this is going to set the franchise back. What does he do? Takes him to the NFC Divisional against Atlanta, who escapes at home with the skin of their teeth. Next year, they won the Super Bowl. Year after that, they lose the Super Bowl because of Pete Carroll. Russell Wilson never had a losing record. His worst record is 9-7. Pete Carroll has something to do with that. They've made the playoffs except for once this entire decade. And that includes Marshawn Lynch giving a hold my man against the Saints. So all this hate and ignorance you got against Pete Carroll, stop.
I don't have hate against Pete Carroll. I don't. I respect what that man has done for that team and the course that he has laid out. We wouldn't be able to talk Legion of Boom if it wasn't for Pete Carroll. But what I am saying,
he's a defensive guy. It's his offensive coordinator's fault. It's his offensive coordinator's fault that they didn't run the ball, and Russell Wilson should have audibled out of it. But
what I'm saying to you is you cannot ignore what Andy Reid has been able to do with two teams over this decade and not put him above Pete Carroll. That's what I'm saying. I don't hate Pete Carroll. I love Pete Carroll. I think he's a great guy. Chews too much bubble gum, but
both sides, man. You can't go one side or the other. You got to go both sides.
Yeah, you can't go.
Jake, you're exaggerating a little bit because the Chiefs. Look, I'm not saying they were up, and the AFC West was one thing, but the Chiefs were not. Yes, they were down, and then he got hired, and I mean, plucks Alex Smith and says, "Yep, this guy's going to do it." Everybody says Alex Smith can't play. Blah blah blah. Yeah, he shoved it right up there. You know what? So, yeah, I love Andy Reid. You know that. And the fact once he has red on instead of green is much better for him, Jake. But that being said, you can't –
Take that how you want to.
It's never empty in Kansas City. They've sold out for, 50 years. I mean, I know people from there. So, yeah, they're not going to be bandwagon like their team. I just – again, to me, it's tough. I mean, I could go with Pete Carroll and Andy Reid. But if people say, if you don't put Belichick on, you're an idiot. Okay, well, if you put somebody on that cheated – and they cheated. Yeah, is every team trying to do it? Yes. Do they get caught? Is there stuff that we don't hear of? Yes, there is, because I've actually had two different friends intern for teams and saying that, they didn't tell me word for word or show me pictures, but NFL will send memos all the time about how something's being filmed, and they have people at every game. So he is a cheater, and that's fine. They won, and he's a defensive coach. So if you're going to give the nod to Belichick, that's why Brady, when, the last Super Bowl, which every time he doesn't do good, we just want to overlook it. I don't. I look at the whole picture like we did with Pete Carroll's numbers. So you want to put cheater there, Brady needs to go off. That's all I'm saying.
There was another one that I looked at.
New subject, man. Get off this new subject.
Did anybody see the defensive end? What they had there? They had Calais Campbell, they had Cam Jordan, they had Julius Peppers, they had J.J. Watt. They were missing somebody.
Don't forget Darnold. Don't forget, the big man from the Rams. He was there too.
He's defensive tackle, but
true.
How did DeMarcus Ware not get on this list?
That is the one I will say, Mike. When I saw that, I was upset.
Yeah, it's a joke.
I agree with you, my brother. As much as he has pained all the quarterbacks in my team with my team,
Jordan,
DeMarcus Ware deserves to be on that squad.
DeMarcus Ware, no way.
Yeah.
No way.
Yes.
No. Marcus Ware from 2010 to 2012, he had 15 and a half sacks, 14 and a half, and 11 and a half. Yeah. Not to mention he was one of the biggest reasons that 2015 Denver defense was that good. and he had a young Von Miller there. He was the big locker room leader, and the reason that front seven was so nasty in that Super Bowl, I was blown away. And also, not to mention, what he did in Dallas is unheard of. We haven't seen somebody like that probably since we got to go back to like Randy White, for crying out loud.
Or well, you see, that's the difference. But that's the difference. He left Dallas.
Okay.
He left Dallas and went to an actual winner. All those numbers that you just spit off couldn't get anything accomplished in Dallas.
Oh, wow.
Tony Romo would throw the ball, and he'd just swing and swing and swing.
Right.
And what's his playoff record?
Look,
one,
as much as DeMarcus Ware should be there.
You go to Denver, and all of a sudden that defense is clicking. You get embarrassed in the Super Bowl, but you go to a Super Bowl, and then the next year you actually get it done. So, no. DeMarcus Ware had a better career, although it was short, in Denver than he ever did in Dallas, because he didn't get a damn thing done in Dallas.
Well, you didn't watch any Cowboys games, obviously, and I don't fault you for that because, people get tired of hearing America's team, but DeMarcus Ware destroyed people in Dallas, destroyed that whole division, and okay, we're not even going to bring Tony Romo into this because when DeMarcus Ware was playing against the Redskins with one arm and had 2.5 sacks in that game, which they lost, the rest of the defense gave up over 500 yards. But, Tony Romo was playing defense. But DeMarcus Ware, you go for the decade. I mean, look, I definitely put him in over, over Cam Jordan. But you know what? I mean, if I look at it too, I mean, I'm not – Julius Peppers, I would say part of it, but I think overall, you can
another
put
former
DeMarcus
Packer
Ware in there too.
Another former Packer, Carolina Panther – Packer, Julius Peppers. Former Bear as well.
Gentlemen, I love the three of you. This has been amazing. Jake, I'm going to let you get the last word.
When he was in Carolina and Chicago.
Jake, I'm going to let you get the last word.
Huh?
Go ahead.
Oh. When I was saying when he was in Carolina and even in his time in Chicago, that was when Julius Peppers was in his prime. All right, it was nice to have Peppers in Green Bay for a couple of good twilight years. He was very good. He was very effective. But man, when you saw him across the other line in 2000 to 2010, you were scared out of your mind there. So I don't really know if Julius Peppers should be on that list or even Cam Jordan. But yeah, DeMarcus Ware to me, I think that was the biggest snub.
Hey, Eric, real quick, though, too, the linebacker-wise, I absolutely laughed because you have Luke Kuechly, Khalil Mack, Von Miller, and Bobby Wagner.
Patrick Willis.
I'm sorry, dude.
What do you have the problem with Bobby Wagner?
Over Terrell Suggs. There's no way Terrell Suggs isn't part of that list, hands down.
Thank you. Yeah.
Hands down. There's no way. That's why it's a joke. I don't have an issue with Bobby Wagner, but I'm sorry. I don't think he's better than Terrell Suggs. Von Miller, okay. Yes, I know what he's done, and he has been dominant. Luke Kuechly meant a lot to that defense, and Chandler Jones, what he's done here in Arizona.
No.
What he's done here in Arizona.
No. Okay.
But
Luke Kuechly, Captain America, a.k.a. Mr. Concussion.
I thought he was
look. He missed
I'm just saying
games.
Terrell Suggs should be on the list. Hands down.
On the list.
He missed 6 games the year that they actually went to the damn Super Bowl because Mr. Concussion couldn't stay on the field. Look, that guy's not even 32 and his NFL career is over. I'm not knocking him for it. He was a warrior out on the field. But why are you going to give him a participation trophy when you actually have people who played the game heart and soul like Terrell Suggs, like Bobby Wagner, like Khalil Mack?
So basically, you're making his case because he's saying Terrell Suggs should be on the list.
He should be on the list over Luke Kuechly, but damn sure not over Bobby Wagner.
Hey, I think, look, Bobby Wagner plays well, but being on the West Coast and seeing a lot of Seahawks games, Bobby Wagner came to fruition. And what's Eric talking about? The Legion of Boom. That secondary, I mean, come on, with Chancellor and Thomas, you weren't throwing deep. And look, I'm not taking away from Bobby Wagner's talent, but Luke Kuechly, in what he was doing in Carolina, okay, Mr. Concussion, but dude played a ton of games. And look, I love Bobby Wagner. I'm just saying that Terrell Suggs is bouncing one of these dudes off because, look, there's and you can get one more laugh from my alleged hatred, which I don't hate, Eric knows. But every time he used to hit Tom Brady, Brady used to be at the ref screaming and crying for a flag because you got hit by Terrell Suggs, who just killed him, which I love. But Terrell Suggs not on there. That's a joke. Absolute joke.
At least we all can agree on that one. Terrell Suggs should have been on the list. Who he replaced, that's up for a discussion for another time. Gentlemen, thank you. Appreciate y'all. We're going to do this again real soon. Hey, Michael Caratanudo, Alex Fleming, Jake Rongholt, your man Eric Wilson. Talk to you guys soon. Everybody stay healthy. See ya.